Okay. Good morning, everybody. Uh, my name is Steve, and I'm an Italian kid from Brooklyn who moved to upstate New York in 1994. If I was still in Brooklyn, I would have said 1994, but you know. Um, I've gone through a whole bunch, like everybody else in the world. So I made a decision to start meditating. I did that. I made many stops and starts with the meditation. Um, and It's just really hard to do it. And then I read this book by Dan Harris called 10% Happier. And what it did is it allowed somebody like me who's a perfectionist to kind of like get a grip of the fact that there's no possible way, especially when you try something as challenging as meditation, to be good at it, right? Out of the gate. The book did is it helped me realize that if I just kind of compartmentalize it and just take my time, then I might, you know, become somebody who practices regularly. Well, let's just say after 263 consecutive days of meditation, probably 90% of those days twice a day, I can seriously say that it's that Dan Harris book helped me significantly, and that there's no doubt that I'm 10%, a minimum of 10% happier, right? But what's great about it is that there's no pressure, right? I do this because I know how it makes me feel. Um, the bottom line is that, like, taking care of yourself and understanding some of these principles really does make for a much easier and better life, right? And like everybody talks about exercise. Yes, you got to exercise, and I'm trying, not doing enough, but definitely doing a lot more than I used to. But the thing that I really believe is that, if you don't take care of your mind first, right? If you don't do what you need to do for your mind, and for your psyche and for your will, you can't, how are you going to like regular exercise? You know what I mean? Like, or do anything for that matter. So, this meditation thing has been very, very real in my life. And I lost my dear friend, John Bongiorno, a few months back. And, he and we had this kind of bond that was pretty special. Most of it was centered around this complete fascination with our Italianness and Italian culture, and John being as big, bigger than life character than even me. When the two of us together, it was just hilarious. And like as I'm meditating, I'm starting read a lot about, and there's this thing where you got the Boo Jews, right? These are all these Jews, right, who have become Buddhists, and it's really cool. There's so many of them. They're great. They've helped me so much. I've learned so much from them. But that whole Boo Jews thing, I thought it was like so neat and so cool. Like that there's this whole category. But then I said, what about the Italians? I said, it's like, look, we're definitely not known to be people that are gonna sit on a cushion for a half hour or an hour or even 10 minutes for that matter, and meditate and do any self-help. But, there are some of us that are. So I started to think about this. I'm like, wait a minute, like I'm this Italian kid from Brooklyn. When I moved upstate, a lot of people called me a Guido. I'm not a Guido, but a lot of people did. And they think, when you have this kind of accent, you're either Joe Pesci or a Guido, right? So then I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, you got these Boo Jews. What about the Guiddhist? That's me. I could be the Guiddhist. Think about it, a Guido Buddhist. So I said, look, maybe there's a place for this out there. Maybe there are people out there like me who, regular dude. I'm just a regular guy doing good work, trying really hard to help people, and be myself, So I'm trying to, I'm bringing this Guiddhist thing, to America. Let's just say that I've only brought it to my family thus far. But if John were alive still, he would eat this up. This would be a spectacular running joke for me and him. He would get it. He'd be laughing. I'll never forget when I first came up with this idea of the Guiddhist. The first person I thought of was John, and I knew that he would just be dying laughing, and it would just be ultimate comedy. You know what I'm saying? Like for Christmas, I would have gotten, like a monk's robe, but with like the Italian flag attached to it or something, knowing John. But yeah, so I'm gonna kind of like do a meditation right now. I'm going to do a 30-minute meditation. And, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here on my cushion that I, was a very, very small move for me. I got this cushion. There's some real good comedy that comes along with it because, when Steve Casa, with his accent, talks about a zafu and a zabuton, right? Of course, the family just eats it up and it just becomes like a great comedy. So if you know me, I love the comedy. And John would eat that up too. If John Bongiorno knew that I had a zafu and a zabuton, holy crap, I would hear the end of it. But it would all be perfect, and I miss him, and I think about him all the time, So I'm going to do a 30-minute meditation right now. I'm going to do something called loving kindness meditation. I know that many of you out there that meditate and know what loving kindness is. It's definitely been the foundational thing for me. Basically, what it is, it's just wishing goodwill for myself and for everybody, even people I can't stand, even people that I have real challenges with. Let me take back that I can't stand thing, because I don't think I'm that person anymore. I don't think there's anybody that I can't stand. I recognize that there are people that I don't like their behaviors and I don't agree with what they've done, but I always come to it now from compassion and recognizing that, there's a reason for what they do and what we all do, myself included, loving kindness meditation has been really, really great for me. I'm going to do a half an hour meditation right now. Look, here's the deal. When I first started, I started with 10 minutes and it was freaking hard, like really hard. Like you can't, like anybody who knows me, I'm like so ADD. I can't sit still for 2 minutes, right? But what I did is I kind of like really worked on trying to like just sit and following this way of kind of coming back to my breath when my mind would wander. And in the beginning, my mind would wander constantly. Now it wanders about 50% of the time, because meditation is really hard. Just try to, anytime that happens, I just kind of go back to the breath, bring it back to the breath, focus on my breath, and, gets me back into where I need to be. And when I do loving kindness, I follow a very interesting teacher by the name of Bhante Sujata. He's pretty amazing. He's out of the Insight Meditation Center in believe it or not, Woodstock, Illinois. And not Insight, excuse me. Did I say Insight? I didn't. I was wrong about Insight. It's the. I don't even remember what it is, but it's really good. But I follow those guys. I follow him specifically, and his gig on loving kindness is simple. It's the three phrases are: be well, be happy, be peaceful. Right, and that covers all the bases. I actually add a fourth because people can do that. I always say, be free from suffering. Right. Even though that kind of comes under the be well thing and the be peaceful thing, but suffering is so real in everybody's lives. I add that, and you could do that too. Do whatever you want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here and I'm going to kind of like get myself peaceful and quiet and into a quiet space. I'm going to feel my body sitting on this cushion. I'm going to feel all the places my body touches the cushion. I'm going to feel where my body touches my body, my arm touching my leg, and my clothes touching me. And then I'm going to kind of like take 3 really deep breaths. And then I'm going to kind of slowly go through my body, and I'm going to feel and try to relax every part of my body from the top of my skull down to my toes. Then when I get through that, what I'll do is I'll go into my loving kindness meditation. And first I'll start with me. And 4 times I'll ask if, may I be well, may I be happy, may I be peaceful, may I be free from suffering. I'll do that 4 times. Then what I'll do is I'll do my kids. May they be well, they be happy, they be peaceful, they be free from suffering. I'll do Suzanne, my girlfriend, who everybody knows because she's amazing. Our kids, our families, all my friends, all the people I work with, the people that I have challenging experiences with. And believe it or not, I have to tell you, you all know that I'm not a Trump supporter. Believe it or not, I include Trump supporters in that because you have to, right? Because the only way we're going to get through this stuff is if we recognize and give blessings to people we don't agree with. It's simple. So that's it. I'm going to go in and do this. And then, of course, I always do it to all living things. So thank you for listening to the first 10 minutes from Steve Casa, the Guiddhist. I'm going to meditate. All right, be well, be happy, be peaceful.